Hi, I'm Kai, and when I was asked to share my testimony, I was so excited because I'm just so grateful for what God's done in my life, and He's given me a message that I really believe is something I can carry to share with people and give them hope. He pulled me out of homelessness and drug addiction and just a completely bound life where I was lost and broken, and I had no one to help me. I was alone, and He came and met me at my worst. I was struggling with heroin addiction from a young age. I was left by myself with no family in the country. I was just on the streets in Lawrence. I was breaking probably 10 different laws a day, getting arrested, going in and out of programs, sleeping outside. And I just didn't know what to do. It was a lifestyle like this for a couple years. I'd wake up either from the shelter or on the street and have to go find out, what am I going to do today? What law am I going to break? Who am I going to rob? It's not how I wanted to live, but it was how I had to live. I felt like I didn't know any other options. And then when I finally did start trying to change my life, I felt like there was no way out. I tried and I couldn't do it. So I almost gave up on myself. After so many programs and being arrested, it would just always lead me back to the same situation. Back in a shelter or back on the streets, detoxing, kicking, and I just didn't know what to do. It was sad, but it was like, what else is there? I remember when my family finally did move back to America, I thought this was going to be all the answers I needed, but it wasn't. No one could fix me. I remember like getting high at my mom's house multiple times. Like crazy stuff, like the crazy things I would do, pain I put my family through, like the amount of tears I caused my mom, the amount of like stories they've told me. It's like breaks my heart today still to hear about it and to think about what I did. But God came in. God kind of moved dramatically. One day, after getting kicked out of a place, I went back to my mother's house and started getting high there again. I had a crazy overdose at her house, and I've overdosed like a bunch of times before, and this time felt real different. I've never really felt anything, I've overdosed and my friends brought me back, or I've overdosed and I've been, like, the first thing I always think about is like, oh, how am I gonna get high because I'm sick now? But that overdose, like, I remember really feeling like I was gone and speaking to God. Like just kind of having a moment with me, like it was like, this is it, I'm dead. Just like almost like blankness, and I don't know what happened in that moment. I don't know how long I was out. It was probably maybe something to do with the prayers that was going on by my family at the time, but like me overdosed in a locked bathroom, I just kind of started calling on Jesus, and in that moment what I felt like Jesus kind of came in and just swept me up out of that overdose, and I'm just calling on the name of Jesus, like, I'm sorry, Jesus, I couldn't do this on my own. And He came in there. He came in and picked me up and brought me back to life. People kind of look at me and wonder like I'm crazy when I share that story, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would God come in and do that? I don't know, but I owe my life to Him. At that moment, I know it was Him who brought me out of that. There's literally no other option in my mind. It had to be Him. And after that, I really decided to give my life to Him. It wasn't always easy. Like, coming out of that, I still was dealing with drug addiction. I still had the devil whispering in my ear, like day after day, like, oh, it's all right. You're not gonna be able to do this. You could go get high. He would even like throw what I felt like were verses at me, like, oh, the flesh is willing, but the spirit is weak. Like, you can't do this. And I just like got in the Word. I just got in the Bible and just like trusted God. And I could shout out probably 100 different verses that I memorized to like combat Him in different moments. But one of the strongest ones that spoke to me was one out of 1 Peter 5:10. But the God of all grace, who called you out of darkness into His eternal glory, who after having let you suffer for a little while will restore you to be strong, firm, and steadfast. And I just remember just like saying that to myself over and over, like, God, I'm suffering right now, but You're gonna restore me. And it was just like what I felt like waiting forever. But looking back at it, it was like almost like a short time. Like, yeah, he did restore me. I can look back and I'm like so confident now that he's restored me to be strong in those situations where I can be around drug users or whatever, and I can know like I'm firm in Jesus. Like I'm never going back to that. And I owe it all to him. I give him my life. I give everything to God. I wouldn't be here without him.